When you think of billionaires, you probably think of people like Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, or the Koch brothers. What do they all have in common other than insane amounts of money? They're old. In the last few years, we've seen the rise of the young billionaire, people striking gold before the age of 30. But who is the youngest self-made billionaire? While the 2020 Hurun Global Rich List names Kylie Jenner as the world's youngest self-made billionaire, it's hard to say she's self-made, having grown up in the Kardashian empire. So today, we're focusing on number 2 on their list, a true rags to riches story, and in our opinion, the real youngest self-made billionaire, Ritesh Agarwal of OYO Rooms. Born and raised in India, Ritesh Agarwal founded Own Your Own Rooms, or OYO Rooms, in 2013. And it's gone on to become the largest hotel chain in India and the second largest hotel chain in the world, extending its network to 200 cities. Ritesh Agarwal's very humble beginnings start in a small town in India called Odisha. Coming from a place with an incredibly low literacy rate, Agarwal was lucky enough to attend a Catholic school in the area, where his parents paid $3 a month in tuition. Looking up to his older sister, who was a college student at the time, she told him about an event at school for entrepreneurship. At the age of 8, this was the first time Agarwal had ever heard the word entrepreneur, and it would change the course of his life forever. When asked by his teachers at school what he wanted to be when he grew up, he was the only one in his class who said they wanted to be an entrepreneur. And unlike most 8-year-olds, he began learning how to code. Taking up internships in high school and saving up his pocket money as best he could, a teenage Agarwal traveled all across the country hoping to stay in hotels for free, mostly with little success. But it didn't matter to him because he knew that one day people would be staying in his hotels. He visited over 100 hotels across India. He was so committed to his dream that he missed out on 4 months of school to travel, looking for a problem to solve. In 2012, at the age of 17, he created Oraval Stays, which paved the way for his current success. Oraval used a similar model to Airbnb and allowed budget hotels in India to operate under his booking system. But as any entrepreneur knows all too well, he encountered plenty of failures along the way. The hotels under the Oraval Stays umbrella faced many problems. Hotels still had the same problems of poor quality beds, inattentive staff, and no running water. All of the things you never want to run into while away from the comfort of home. So, what did he do? He didn't quit because now he'd found the problem he needed to solve. Agarwal seized these failures as learning opportunities and dropped out of college to make his idea work and turn his dream into a reality. This decision was made possible after he received a $100,000 grant in 2013 from the Teals Fellowship Program. Thus, OYO Rooms was born. OYO Rooms has become the biggest startup in India and the country's largest hotel chain. What sets Ritesh and OYO apart is that unlike major hotel chains, he doesn't actually own any of the hotels. This is where he was able to find his massive success. Because instead of spending his money on property all over India and soon after the world, OYO Rooms charges budget hotels to use his services. Not a bad idea for a college dropout. And as of 2020, OYO has over 23,000 hotels and 4,600 vacation homes for a grand total of 850,000 rooms worldwide, making it the perfect option for a business trip or your globe-trotting adventures. And the best part is that no matter if you find yourself in Delhi or New York City, OYO Rooms have the same layout and standard of service. The goal was never to compete with 5-star hotels or big names, but to offer cleanliness and availability at an affordable price. And it worked because in 2018, his company was valued at $5 billion. And while he is far from being India's first billionaire, with a grand total of 137 in the country, he is the youngest billionaire under 30. While that's obviously no easy feat anywhere, that makes him one of the few elites in a country with close to 1.5 billion people. He even received recognition from none other than Donald Trump himself during his presidency. The year 2020 threw plenty of hurdles in front of businesses, both small and large. For most people, it wasn't easy, as more and more businesses had to fold under the economic pressure of COVID-19. But luckily for Ritesh Agarwal, he doesn't give up so easily, and the pandemic was just another challenge on his path to 10-figure success. Although the situation threw a wrench in his plans, the young billionaire found a way to make it work for him. Instead of focusing on expansion, this was the perfect opportunity to further develop what he'd already built. Even though they took a pretty significant hit at the beginning of the worldwide lockdown, OYO Rooms managed to gain 90% of their revenue back by the end of 2020. Unfortunately though, that gain did come at a cost, as OYO Rooms had to lay off many of its employees in order to continue to move forward. When you're CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company, you have to make tough choices, and Ritesh is no stranger to making sacrifices for the greater good. To quote Ritesh, "Crisis brings clarity." He chose to help improve the company where it already had a stronghold, in Northern Europe, Southeast Asia, and his home country of India. And although a pandemic proved to be a big challenge, he had plenty of support behind him. Despite the losses, he still had $1 billion in the bank and 100 million OYO users to keep things moving in the right direction. Maybe if OYO was still in the development phase, Ritesh's story wouldn't be such a good one. Ritesh took to Twitter in 2020 to give the public updates and his thoughts about how to move forward with OYO. He stated that companies have been pushed to use technology in new ways, and that in order to ensure the success of a business, CEOs and entrepreneurs must learn to understand data science. And he's right. Moving forward, Ritesh has said that his goal is to have better face-to-face contact with his partnering hotels, or as he calls them, OYOpreneurs, to provide customers with top-notch quality and service. There's no doubt that this is going to skyrocket the company even further in the upcoming years. It's obvious that the spirit to be the best was instilled in Ritesh Agarwal early on, and he has no intentions of stopping. The world's youngest self-made billionaire isn't even 30 years old, and his company, OYO Rooms, hasn't even been around for a decade. There's nowhere for this kid to go but up. Even more important is that today's youth have an entrepreneur to look up to who wasn't born into stardom. He's living proof that the so-called American dream can reach across the borders of the United States, and that all you need to do is find a problem worth solving and give it your all. Ritesh, a small-town kid, has proven over the last year that OYO Rooms isn't going anywhere, and it won't be long before there's OYO Rooms in every major city. But what do you think? Is there a more inspirational self-made billionaire under the age of 30? Let us know what you think in the comments section below. Remember to hit that like button and make sure to subscribe to Insane Luxury if you want to see more videos like this one. Thanks for watching. See you next time.